My question was, can the internet save the world? Well, not with all this censorship going around. We're kind of spoiled here in the United States because you do your little videos and you do your blogging and you write stuff, you think everybody in the world can see you? Wrong! A lot of countries don't have internet. There are so many countries that censor the internet to their people, mostly or completely, and those include China, Burma, Vietnam, Tunisia, Syria, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, and even North Korea, of course. And practically every country blocks it to some degree or another. Japan has a copyright infringement where they even produce these fake dramas so these banners can come up and say, you're not supposed to be downloading this. It's copyright stuff. It's not yours. You can't do it. We also had these problems where just, I think, a year or two ago when Australia had to fight against this, against the clause trying to control their internet and what they watch. The UK, London, had porn restricted because they were protecting child pornography. I don't know exactly where that went, if it's still, I mean, are they still blocking porn in London or in England? I don't know, you could tell me. Most people agree to have child pornography blocked. It's blocked here in the United States, but you don't have to block porn because it's just a stepping stone to block other things. That's what I think. So I think we just have to protect ourselves. I think this is something that we should fight for and talk about again because it's not over. So we need to protect the internet with net neutrality. Net neutrality is what will keep the internet open and untouched for the most part, and it should be law to protect ourselves. Now, in those conditions, can the internet save the world? There are ways that we do know the internet can save the world. With the sophistication of collected data, it could help predict and protect us against natural disasters. And in an epidemic, there could be telepresence, which is where people don't have to get together and still be able to make things function by the internet, and therefore not allowing the virus to reach a tipping point. Viruses in low density are not allowed to thrive, and therefore they don't reach a tipping point, so that's one way that we could not have an epidemic. And of course, an educated, informed society is a powerful society, because knowledge is power. Through education, it raises tolerances and it helps us to learn from others, and it raises tolerance levels for other groups that normally people probably would have prejudices against because they don't understand, which basically comes out of fear. There's also the power of human capital, crowdsourcing, getting people together to raise money for important causes that would help society. And of course, save the environment as well. You know, we don't use paper much anymore, so it turns paper to electrical emails. Also, education helps societies in different countries that are probably dictatorship to gather and get together, which helps to diminish tyranny and dictatorship. It's obvious that these countries that are mainly dictatorships don't want their people to get educated. But in this country, if this country specifically is trying to take your Bill of Rights in any way, then it's not a free country. And maybe Obama is right. I mean, maybe. He said the companies should protect themselves, but then again, we also should protect the internet to have an open internet. But you sometimes can't trust the government, or can you? I mean, are they really trying to do the things for our best interest? Are they really trying to do things for our best interests, or not really? I mean, it is a little skeptical, isn't it? So we have to just be careful. We have to educate ourselves, and we have to protect at least the internet, because the best thing that has come along that we know very well that could help everyone. What am I talking about? I sound like a retard. And I have the fucking light on. Okay, tyrannies and dictatorships in certain countries, obviously we know what they're doing. They're trying to control. They do not want their public to educate themselves and to overthrow them, basically. In this country, is it really that, or could it be that the government just knows better and knows that the public should not have all the ammunition because they'll overthrow them? Same thing, isn't it? No. Well, maybe. I mean, if the internet was left open completely for many generations to come, and people educate themselves to the point where they understand all the technology there is, they could probably get it for themselves, and then you'd probably have this breed of fringe movements and subcultures and gathering all this technology. People could have their own little armies and technologies to just basically overthrow the government. It could bring us back into the Wild Wild West, but in the future. So it's like a future Wild Wild West show. I mean, you know, there's a degree of things. North Korea and other countries that we know, basically dictatorships, they're really kind of like extremist in that fashion. And maybe we're just, in this country, more checks and balances. If the internet was left untouched, at least in this country, would it save the world? Well, some companies like Google, who are trying to extend life expectancy by learning with big data to help the healthcare system. Google wants to help countries that do not have the internet to get the internet by sending these balloons that are able to give internet services to those countries. It's called Project Loon. So it's big data and all these algorithms and this quantum computing. Would it really help save us, or help us at least to live longer, to be healthier, to have better politics, have better government? Well, maybe it's not that easy. At least someone doesn't think so. You can't just save everything by clicking here. I mean, that's exactly the title of the book by Evgeny Morozov. And he doesn't think that these guys from Silicon Valley could just, with their big computing data, quantum computing and all this, just basically save humanity. He doesn't agree with that. I'm having a deja vu right now. Very weird. He says the temptation of the digital age is to try to fix everything, from crime to corruption to pollution to obesity, by digitally quantifying, tracking, or gamifying our behavior. But when we change the motivations of our moral, ethical, and civical behavior, we may also change the very nature of that behavior. Technology can be a force of improvement, but only if we keep solutionism in check and learn to appreciate the imperfections of liberal democracy. Some of those imperfections are not accidental, but by design. Even Microsoft's Bill Gates said the internet cannot save the world. But then again, he's not working at Google, is he? But maybe perhaps he's just a pessimist. I like to think positive. The internet could be like a double-edged sword. There are pros and cons. I mean, maybe there are cons like it could be addicting, it could make you unsocial. I mean, there's not too many cons. It probably is one depending on how you look at it. But there are also a lot of pros. I mean, everything that I mentioned before. Education and elevating humankind. And then there's the controversial ones that, depending on how you look at it, whether it's going to be a pro or a con, and that's basically that the internet could be the fall of religion. Or maybe the internet could bring about other religions. Who knows? I think someone like physicist Michio Kaku is correct. He says that in order for humankind to survive, we gotta move to another stage of civilization. He says there are three types of civilizations. There's type 1 civilization, which is those who harness the power of planets, the solar energy, they have cities in the ocean and be able to control earthquakes and such. And then there's this type 2 civilization, which is interstellar, that they travel to other planets within their galaxy. And then there's, of course, the stage 3, which is intergalactic. So I think in order for humans to be on the right track, we at least got to get to stage 1, because right now we're at stage 0. And if greed and censorship and dictatorship basically is all under the umbrella of greed, and fear and what have you, doesn't change and doesn't improve, we're going to end up destroying ourselves. And you know what? If you believe in what physicists say, it's been billions and billions of years that we've been lucky that this Earth has been right in the Goldilocks zone, supposedly, so that life could evolve. If you believe in evolution, you know, just basically, it's been a long time, so it's kind of precious. And whether there are other intelligent civilizations or other lives on other planets, it's precious. So let's not screw it up. Let's just take care of it and be careful. Let's try to move on to that other stage or the following stage of civilization, so at least we can be for sure that humankind is here to stay in this universe, if the universe even stays. At least in this universe, or, you know, maybe there's other multiverses and we'll find out about it, but we won't probably. But the future generations will. We won't, but maybe future generations. So we need to protect ourselves. We're a precious commodity. If we want to look at ourselves as a commodity, we're precious. So as a whole, we're also precious. So let's take care of it. That's what I say. Maybe this whole big data will help. We don't know. So could it be that in years to come, with all the information that the internet is gathering, that it could develop a sort of consciousness? Can the internet become conscious of itself? I mean, now there's quantum computing. First there was classical physics, now there's quantum physics. What's next? Who knows? Now there's electrons are coming together, and or they're like more than one place at the same time. To universes and parallel universes, and who knows? These particles or atoms are doing the quantum leap where they're more than one place at the same time. That means that in your body all the atoms and particles could be in more than one place at the same time. That means there's multiple universes, or it means there's different versions of you and every different outcome doing everything at the same time right now. That means every possible outcome. That means there's all kinds of possibilities of you going on right now. See it, we can't do nothing with it. Absorbing all this information, it's cultivating our minds, and it's making us a little more intelligent to think, and maybe other people will find out other things by helping each other and learning other things. Where are we getting all this information from? Oh, that's right, the internet.